Hello and welcome! Tonight on the show, we have been struck by Cupid's arrow. Today, we're going to be talking about the Olive Tap Chocolate Raspberry Liqueur Sauce and our friend Robert Rothschild's Dirty Martini. Could be a dip, could be a spread, who knows? Join us. We are Sauce Spoken.
And we're back. We are three sultry and suave suitors here bringing you a little Valentine's Day treat. We are Sauce Spoken. We are the podcast detailing your favorite sauces, dips, and condiments. What you choose to do with those sauces and where you choose to place them on your body are your own business.
Wow, specific.
I'm your host, Adam. I'm joined here today by my co-host, Tori.
Hello and welcome. Love is in the air, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. I like my sauce on my plate, thank you. But to my right, as always, we are E-Maxing. Let's say hello to our co-host, Eric.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be here on this, well, actually just after, I suppose, this episode will come out afterwards, but, saucier,
Valentine's
bunch of
Day.
sauciers here
That's
for
right.
the Valentines.
Very romantic.
He's panicking at even the thought of Valentine's Day occurring.
Oh, come
Doesn't
on.
know where to go with it.
I know exactly what to do. Work like normal and do nothing special.
Which
It's
brings
a
us.
Sunday.
Well,
It is a Sunday. I'll be working.
Yeah, this will be this past Sunday, but well, maybe you can find a girl before then to take out on a date. We're recording this a little bit in advance, so you have a little bit of time in any case.
A little bit of time, but I
There's still time.
don't think it's going to happen.
Well,
We'll see.
by the time this comes out, it'll be too late. But there's still time potentially for a lucky lady listener to chime in and hit us up at saucespoken@gmail.com, and I'll hook you up. It hasn't happened yet, but who's to say that it's not too late?
We keep trying.
So, how's your week this week, there, Eric? And before you say anything, if I can give, I'm gonna take a firm guess here. We can see how accurate I am. It was a long week. We've been really busy at work. I've been feeling super tired today, and I only took 6 naps this week, so
Wow.
really busy at work. I was running some G code.
I actually came prepared with something better to say than that.
I was just reminiscing on some previous episodes, and I was thinking, Eric always has the exact same answer to that question. I'm going to stop asking him, but this week, that's good. If you have something different, that's perfect.
I do. My coworker showed me some tips on a silly app called Instagram, which I had no desire to actually use, but I'm now officially posting things on Instagram.
Ah, very good.
Nice.
Pictures of the Nerd Palace, bathroom progress pics. Pic, maybe? Just the one, the before pic.
Just the before pic. Doing 3D printing, some 3D printing pictures, and got a new filament dryer for my 3D printer, which is pretty cool. So I posted that up there to let everyone know that it works great. And
Your dryer, you said?
a filament dryer, yeah.
Not like a clothes dryer.
What is a filament dryer?
The filament for your 3D printer.
Oh, okay, very good.
Yeah, I've been doing
Why
a lot
was
of
it wet?
It just absorbs moisture out of the air. They're real sensitive to
Did you get this out of a pack of beef jerky? Little dessicant
the
pack?
little desiccant
Okay.
packs. It actually came with the color changing desiccant packs.
Oh yeah, we have those. We have those at my work. We don't change them out often enough, so they're always pink or blue, whatever they're not supposed to be.
No, if they're colored, that means they're still good, I think. And then
Well,
they turn white. Or they turn
Yeah, I was
like
gonna say
clear.
there's some that change color too, from like pink, like a pink to blue, and they're whatever.
Yeah.
There's some that change. Is what I'm trying to say.
No, it's cool. It's been good. It's been a fun week. I've been doing a lot of 3D printing. I've ran like 5 prints already this week. And it's only Thursday, so. And how was your week filled, Adam?
No, we go to Tori next. My week gets ignored. Tori, how was your week this week?
Wow. Well, boy, let's see. Got a little kitchen work going on, replacing the floor in my kitchen just to keep the punching bag going. Excuse
Okay.
me here. Yeah, I'm probably going to start and finish my kitchen job sooner then
In one calendar year?
in one calendar year, yeah, in contiguous weeks, and continually make progress, visual progress.
Wow.
I'm almost certain it's your wife's mission to do your entire project before I step foot in my torn apart bathroom.
That might be legitimately part of it. I think
it is.
Our other friend Adam, who has yet to listen to the podcast, I think that was part of his. I know he was sending you encouraging messages about his recent bathroom remodel that he ran into a lot of hiccups on, and
he did. That was a tough project for him. It took him a long time, but it was his only bathroom, so
yeah, that's true. That does motivate you a little bit more. But you are showering in your dungeon basement, right?
It's a very nice basement for a Pittsburgh basement, and all Pittsburgh listeners will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's true. I was underselling it a little bit. I was just saying if this was the nerd, if we're considering this the Nerd Palace, that would be the dungeon of your Nerd Palace.
Okay, fine. In that analogy, yes.
So
wake up every morning and have to take an extra 20 steps to get in my shower instead of 5.
It is better than showering with a hose, which I believe was our aforementioned friend, other Adam. That was his shower of choice when he was down. So I could see that kicking you in the butt a little bit for motivation.
Yeah, if you have the hot water from the stationary tub.
It all worked out for him, really.
Yeah.
I mean, he made it work relatively well.
He made it work.
And I've always called that, this was something I got into a discussion with someone the other day, the stationary tub. And I don't know if this is an Ohioism or if this is just a redneckism, but I've always called that a slop sink.
That's interesting. I always called it a deep sink.
Oh. Probably a deep sink is most accurate.
It is deep.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just always, I think that was like a lot of places I worked, like we had mentioned working at Home Depot. I think that was always just, that was where you went and clean shit, was the slop sink,
Yeah, I equate that more to a janitor's type.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I kind of consider, I have one in my basement, and I kind of consider that to be the janitor's closet of my house.
Fair enough.
So, that makes sense.
I know people shopping at Home Depot come in and ask for laundry sinks, or like laundry tubs. I think they call them, what do they call them? Yeah, I think they say like that, like a laundry tub sink. And I'm like, I know what they're talking about.
Right.
And I immediately say, oh, yeah, like a deep sink.
Yeah, a stationary tub, a slop sink. So we're recording this a little bit in advance. Eric, do you have any plans for the upcoming Valentine's Day here? Now, as this episode releases, it will be past.
I do not. I know for a fact I'm working that Sunday. So that Saturday before, maybe I could be doing something potentially, but
hey, here's a thought. You'll be working at Home Depot, is that correct?
That's correct.
Store number.
Wow.
We tried to get that out of you before on air. Here's a thought, though. This is a little bit of a golden opportunity for you because you'll be working there on Valentine's Day. Maybe there's some other single lucky ladies there that might be working on Valentine's Day, and you might be able to scope out who didn't feel the need to get the day off. Maybe that might tip you off a little bit there.
There you go.
It's certainly a nice thing to hope for. Generally, I work with a bunch of older guys.
Well, you figured, that was always, when I was a single man working at Home Depot on Valentine's Day, that was always my thing. Like any chick coming in working on a home project on Valentine's Day, she's single as hell. It's customer-wise, so you got free reign on them.
Right. No, that's true.
Wow.
Soft Spoken is officially a podcast that respects women.
And apparently we're a dating podcast too now, giving dating tips, and they're just trying to help. Man, I know my friends.
That's why we started this. Tori and I didn't want to tell you this, but we actually started this to get you hooked up with girls, so you leave us the fuck alone.
Groupies,
wow,
dude. Sauce groupies.
Yeah, sauce group, board game groupies, if anything. So.
I just literally an hour ago, I am following now some board game girl on Instagram.
Is it Belle Delphine? You gonna drink her board game bathwater?
God, don't even know who that is, but
You're better off.
Oh goodness,
it's goofy. It sounded neat. I don't know. It might be just totally rubbish. I don't look at Facebook. I don't really do social media, so I don't.
You're on Instagram now. You said.
I know. I'm trying to make an effort for my friends.
That's all we can ask.
That's right. But my effort does not include me checking it daily or even more than once a week.
Well, anyways, now that we've discussed... Oh, wait, Tori, no, what are your Valentine's Day plans? We skipped right over you.
Wow. Oh, boy. Well, nice to see you guys. Thanks for having me tonight.
That's so tied up with Eric.
Yeah. Let's see. My Valentine's Day plans, it's going to fall on a Sunday, of course. So the original plan was going to go out and get a Chick-fil-A heart-shaped platter.
Is that seriously a thing?
That's a thing. Yeah, that's a thing.
On a Sunday?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm angry because falling Valentine's Day. So I got to get my Chick-fil-A platter on Saturday. But yeah, I'll be laying a floor that Saturday.
Very good.
Yeah, new kitchen floor. It'll be going down. I'm actually taking the day off that Friday, the Friday prior. So, yeah, it'll be a good time. I'm looking forward to recording next week. We're going to have a real time paradox trying to keep this all straight in your brain.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, no, I mean, we're really no plans.
Very cool. Yeah, my girlfriend and I were kind of trying to decide what we were going to do. We had a little bit of a disastrous experience last year that I've, not disastrous, just less than stellar. I won't elaborate on it because it was negative, but we went to a local restaurant around here, which I think has a bit of a...
It's bad.
Yeah, that we had a little bit of they try to play themselves up as kind of a fancy restaurant, and as we kind of discovered, maybe they were at one time, but I think now it's kind of like, it seems like a place where maybe prom kids think is fancy.
It's a place where social security checks go to die.
Yeah, they had valet, which I thought was awkward because it was a very easily accessible parking lot, and they lost someone's car while we were there, which... It's a small parking lot. I mean, you could see every car, so if the guy couldn't find his car, someone's out joyriding.
Is this downtown, just generally
No,
speaking?
No, this is right down the road from us. It's up on a hill, as a matter of fact. It's an experience. I wouldn't, like I said, it's far too expensive to go there just for kicks or anything, but...
or good food, for that matter.
Or good. Well, the food was passable. I had a Caesar salad prepared tableside. That was probably one of the highlights of the experience. The rest of it was not bad, but, lackluster for the cost. But
did they do that at Olive Garden too? Just saying.
Well, Olive Garden, I'm a staunch defender of Olive Garden. Say what you will, but you can go there and you can get soup salad and breadsticks. You'll be full.
I mean, the preparation of the Caesar salad at their table. I've seen it done at Olive Garden.
They do that?
Pretty sure.
They
used to.
I'm not a fan.
Why would you get a Caesar salad prepared tableside when they bring you a free salad prepared not tableside? Wow, that just seems... I don't know about getting one of those from Olive Garden, because I can imagine that would include, like... normally when you get a Caesar salad prepared tableside, they're mixing the ingredients. They've got the anchovies, the eggs, things like the oils and all that. I can imagine going to Olive Garden, they would get a plastic bag of romaine lettuce, pour it in a bowl. They'd get the croutons out of the bag, pour them in a bowl. And they'd get the salad dressing and pour it in a bowl and just kind of mix it all together. That's what I would be envisioning.
I suppose that's kind of what I was envisioning myself, actually. Yeah, that's kind of what their tableside service, I think, is. That maybe they don't actually make the dressing from scratch, but they certainly prepare it right there and do you want more cheese? Do you want more croutons? Do you want... That's at least I thought. I don't know. It's been years since I've been to an Olive Garden. Maybe I'm mixing up with a different restaurant.
Yeah, I think you might be, because that...
Maybe a good one. I don't know.
Maybe a good one.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like something they do at an Olive Garden, but in any case, I think what we're going to do this year is we might go to Mallorca, a small tapas restaurant. I tried to convince her to go to a topless restaurant. She wouldn't let me, so I said, hey, this is my Valentine's Day too, but she said no. So, yes, ma'am.
Nice. Well, good.
Because we respect women on this podcast.
You should have a real good meal out there. I haven't been there in a couple of years, but
I've never been there.
What I remember of it was very good.
It's very good. I was in a couple of years as well.
I'm a fan of tapas, but mainly if I can eat a lot of them, because obviously you're not getting full off anything. So, but
they have a full menu too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I had a full meal, and it was
by yourself?
Bottle of wine. No, I took my sister there for her birthday.
Oh, that's romantic.
So, yeah, real romantic.
That's the Spanish place, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, the seafood is tremendous. Very good.
And I am a big fan of seafood.
Yeah.
Yeah, their food in general is just really, really good. A little pricey, but it's excellent. And they are, Mallorca is also, I guess we should say it on this podcast, it is a chain.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I wasn't aware of that either.
But
they're just major cities.
My girlfriend and I don't really have a set anniversary date, so we've just kind of electively decided to make that Valentine's Day, which is fine by me, because then I get out of paying for 2 expensive dinners. So.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. We respect girlfriends on this podcast.
Mama.
And wives, for that matter. But, we're both perfectly happy with that. We'll go out there, and that'll be, possibly go out there, and that'll be fun. Don't try to track us down. Well, no, we'll be going back in time, because that will have already happened if it's
another paradox. So. Yeah.
Back in time. But anyways, so speaking of Olive Garden and olives in general, this week we have 2 sauces for you guys that are both olive-centric. We have our first one is a little bit more of a stretch, where it's a dirty martini sauce, and they picture some olives on the glass. Why don't you give us a little read of what we're looking at there, Eric?
Sure, I'd be happy to. We have Robert Rothschild Dirty Martini Dip and Spread. So yeah, it's an interesting looking sauce, and it's farm established 1984. It says on the label.
And for our second sauce there, Tori?
Oh, absolutely. We have the Olive Tap. Now, this is quite the long name. Bear with me. The Olive Tap, olive oil and balsamic vinegar, tasting emporium and gourmet market. Now, that's the name of the manufacturer. The sauce in particular is chocolate raspberry liqueur sauce. So I just want to keep that straight in everyone's brain. This is a very much a chocolate sauce. None of that balsamic stuff. That ties back into the name of the manufacturer.
Yeah, no, we wanted to kind of make this a little bit of a Valentine's Day centric episode. So we wanted to kind of play off a little bit of like going out to dinner with the getting some drinks, with the dirty martini dip, and then, doing a little bit of dessert after that with the chocolate raspberry liqueur sauce. So that was kind of the idea that we had behind this episode. Do you want to lead us off there, Eric, with a little bit of description of your dirty martini sauce? What was the name on that again?
It's Robert Rothschild. At least that's the manufacturer.
Okay.
And it's not really a sauce as much as it's a dip and spread.
Okay, dip and spread.
Yeah, it's quite a bit thicker. It's white. Honestly, when I knew we were doing a sweet sauce and a savory, well, I didn't know we were doing a savory one. I knew we were doing sweet sauces for this podcast episode. I thought it was looked kind of like a white chocolate, like peppermint, like fudge almost,
Oh, yeah.
Because it's got these little red flakes and maybe even a little bit of like green in there. So,
no question, there's green in there.
Yeah, there's definitely some green. It just doesn't. I don't actually see it as I'm spinning the jar in front of me here. But there's actually I guess what is vegetables.
Olives.
And probably olives. Yeah. So it's got a really neat shape to the glass jar. It's got a octagon on the top and bottom, and then it's got a round cylindrical centerpiece to it. So.
And like a copper-colored round lid, too, which is really cool.
Yeah. The lids are it really pops.
Really a high-quality bottle. I mean, it definitely screams kind of like, it screams expensive bottle of sauce, which is what it was. So, dip and spread.
It's the kind of jar that E would empty out whatever's in there, and then he would save the jar accordingly.
Yeah, probably would be guilty of that.
He would save what's in the jar as well.
Just for a little bit of aging.
Until it crawled out on its own.
Until it turned into blue cheese. I don't know if we discussed that on the podcast, but one time, I think we must have discussed this on the podcast. One time, Eric and I went out to an Applebee's, and I was doing my best to convince the waitress that aged ranch turned into blue cheese, and and she was buying off on this. So you remember that, Eric? She was 100% buying off on that I was telling her. She's like, "Oh yeah, that sounds right. Something like that does happen." I said, "Yeah, you age it and it just gets chunky and starts getting the mold in there, and that's when ranch turns into blue cheese."
I'm pretty sure actually I was the one who initiated that conversation.
Oh yeah, you might
because we had already done the podcast,
right?
And so it was kind of an inside joke between us. I asked the waitress if it was.
You were really feeling your oats that day.
I was. Well, maybe I was a couple beers in.
I rubbed off on you, so
something to that extent. So yeah, back to this particular Robert Rothschild dirty martini dip. What's neat about it is it also has a little like a stamp, but it's just printed on the label.
Right.
But it says small batch from scratch.
Wow,
which is pretty cool. And it has a neat little logo of like an R and a spoon, and then what looks to be like a pineapple. No, I don't know what that is actually.
Let me see.
Maybe a raspberry.
That would certainly make more context in the
You're right. It does kind of look pineapple-esque. I would say, raspberry.
Or maybe a hop.
You could be right on there, but it's not a beer sauce.
No, it's not a beer sauce.
It's a farm, though. I mean,
I guess they have
nothing
hops.
short of them growing hops.
Well, why don't you give us a little bit of a description there on what you're looking at for your sauce there, Tori?
Yeah, sure thing. We have the Olive Tap over here. This is the chocolate raspberry liqueur sauce. The jar is a bit smaller, but it's still glass. It has the black metal screw-on top. The label almost looks to me, I would describe it possibly as a sepia tone.
Okay.
Yeah.
It has
tan. Yeah.
It has a tannish to it, maybe a bit of an agedness to it. As I looked at this bottle the first time, I thought next to the Olive Tap here, I thought there was two snails. Did you guys see these?
I didn't look that closely.
Once I took my glasses off and really seen what's happening here, they're just these cute little insignias, but they look like snails to me. So feast your eyes whenever this gets passed over to you. But yeah, really outside of that, I mean, the bottle really isn't too much. I mean, of course, they describe with a sauce in it, extraordinary flavor of chocolates and raspberries, which I'm sure we will elaborate on. But yeah, there's not really much to it outside of that, but it's really something to behold. The real treat's what's inside.
Yeah, I will say, and both of these, the Dirty Martini one kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop initially because I'd never really seen anything like that before, and I don't know, I wasn't really sure what the lead up for that one was going to be, and it kind of worked out well for this, to go with this particular episode. I think it bears mentioning that both of these sauces were Valentine's Day worthy in the same sense as Majorca is, in that they were pretty pricey. I know on the website, the Dirty Martini sauce is claiming to retail for $9 for what size is that jar again, Eric?
It's a 10-ounce jar.
And this Olive Tap chocolate sauce is an 11-ounce jar. What did you pay for that, Eric?
It was $8.50. So yeah, not cheap, that's for sure.
So yeah, you got the better part of $20 between these two sauces. So this is definitely like a date night for sauce enthusiasts.
A treat, indeed, for sure. If I may make one more comment about that Olive Tap label, I found it to be a little bit confusing.
Okay, it is definitely a lot of information on there.
Yeah, right off the bat. The Olive Tap, of course, is the name of the manufacturer, and then they get awful wordy underneath here because they dabble in the olive oils and the balsamic vinegars.
Oh, I would say more than dabble. That is pretty much their
wheelhouse.
That's how the company started.
But this is more of a dabbling over here, the chocolate sauce. Okay, but at a glance, you would think that this is some type of wild. At least this is what I thought. So I mean, put that into perspective. But it's a chocolate, raspberry, olive oil, balsamic vinegar. They are a real mouthful, but it's far more pleasant than my initial.
Well, I know that
reaction.
I picked it up after tasting it, and I said, I didn't taste the olive oil or balsamic vinegar, and you guys said, no, you fucking idiot. That's part of the little catchphrase name thing. That's not in the sauce.
Yeah.
You dumb fuck. I specifically remember you guys saying exactly those words.
I have to admit, I kind of want to bring up, comparing the two, because they're basically the same price point, but I definitely think that and
to be clear, I think I actually paid less than that for the Dirty Martini. I think these might have been like spot on price wise for what I actually paid for them. That's just what they had listed on the website.
Okay. But I do think that the graphic design overall and the look of this Robert Rothschild Dirty Martini spread, it looks like it's worth the $9. It looks more worthy of being $9 than the Olive Tap seems, kind of something you would just see at the grocery store. It just seems a little bit plain.
It's a little less, a little less filigreed on the jar. The glass jar is a little less. It's a simpler design. It's a simple round jar. I think they both look good, and I could definitely see them sitting on a shelf next to each other. Whereas I think now, to be fair, that all of the Dirty Martini one, I think I either got that from Giant Eagle or Walmart. So it will clearly go on a grocery store shelf. This isn't something I had to order online or something like that.
And whereas the Olive Tap is specifically made for the Olive Tap franchise, I guess you would call it. I mean, they have that's like a
small chain. And you actually had the privilege of interacting with. It's a family-owned establishment, right, Eric? And
it is.
Okay, and you had a little bit of an interaction with one of the family members, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Just how it happened that the person working was the manager of the store and was one of the family members of the original family who started the whole Olive Tap. And we got talking about it because actually where I grew up, or for a part of my life, I grew up in Medina, Ohio, and they have a location there, which is how I knew about the Olive Tap before. Well, actually, the Olive Tap wasn't even here in Pittsburgh when I first started coming out to Pittsburgh. I think they didn't get established here until 2012. And I've been living in Pittsburgh essentially since 2005. So
okay. One thing before we kind of jump into a little bit more of our tasting notes, I was kind of curious about your guys' opinion on, do you guys like martinis, dirty martinis?
So I have a funny story for that.
Not my cup of tea, no. I prefer a gin and tonic if I'm going that route with it. But, 95% of the time I'm going to drink, obviously, beer, duh.
Right. I also prefer, I think, a gin and tonic. For me, personally, I find the martini glass to be extremely frustrating.
I can believe that.
I don't like it. I find them a pain in the ass to drink out of, and I don't get anything. If I'm going to get it, I'll get it in a rocks glass. Like, I don't need to... I very much like, and you guys know this about me, I very much like to have things correct, like the way that they should be, the way that they're supposed to be. For that, I'm just perfectly fine having a martini in a rocks glass. I'll be, base, I'll be uncultured about it, but I'd much rather do that than be spilling martini all over myself as I'm walking.
Yeah, I don't understand how you can't be schlepping all over yourself in one of those glasses.
It's almost like they made a glass that's hard to drink out of. It's like trying to drink off a plate, essentially.
A Frisbee.
Yeah, it's like trying to drink off a Frisbee, or like I said, a sloped plate. It's not a glass that's designed to be drank out of.
Well, it certainly gives your nose a lot of close proximity to the drink. You're supposed to smell it as you're drinking it.
I'm trying to get drunk, bro.
Tell me how that's any better than like a red wine glass that contains the liquid.
That contains it better? Okay, fine. No,
okay,
I'll
there's
agree.
you're not going to win on this one. I'm not going to let you have this one. You're wrong.
But the funny story that goes with my martini experience is that, so I never had a martini until 3 years ago.
Okay.
It's my 30th birthday. I was out with some friends, and they were like, oh, what kind of drinks do you like? And I'd already had several beers and dinner, and we ended up going to a dive bar, and they had martinis were like the special of the night.
Oh.
And so they were like, oh, do you like it was a lemon drop martini was the special.
That's cute.
Right. And I was like, I've never had a martini, much less a lemon drop one.
You were turning 16 again, right? You said.
So my friends thought it would be funny to So they ordered me a lemon drop, a classic 1920s martini, which is a red martini, which they had to tell the bartender the recipe, which was kind of funny.
I'm not familiar with that. A red martini.
A red martini, and then they also gave me an extra dirty martini, and so I drank all three of them. I enjoyed all three of them. So
now
maybe I'm a martini drinker, but that was the last time I had a martini.
What's a red martini? I'm dying to know this.
Honestly, I do not remember the recipe.
Oh my god! Is it?
He was 10 beers in.
I was 10 beers in, and then martinis and shots, and
we'll have to follow up on this for a later episode.
I will find out the recipe. I will follow up.
With that in mind, I guess we can kind of circle around to a little bit of our tasting notes. The first thing for me that I noticed right off the bat was on the dirty martini spread, that is, I definitely got pimento, which we discovered was one of the ingredients. It makes sense if you think about it from like the olives. I didn't notice any olive in there. We can do a little read on the ingredients here in a minute. I didn't notice any of that. I definitely got the pimento. Did you notice anything to that effect, Tori?
I got the salt from the olive in a big way.
Yes, definitely.
Big way. And of course the color was there too. There was some hints of green throughout. So they were certainly visible. I don't know. I mean, outside olives being salty, I like olives a great deal. Green olives. Black olives I don't care for. But green olives are terrific.
I like all of them.
Me too.
Well done. Yeah, I like black olives on a pizza or in tuna fish. Long story. But
tuna fish.
Yeah, that's good. It'll spice up your tuna fish. I think it could be a little bit bland. The saltiness from the olive. I don't know. I like it.
To make like a tuna fish like salad.
Yeah, if you make like a tuna melt or something with a little bit of celery, maybe a hard-boiled egg.
I've had that with green olives. Especially like a macaroni salad, I throw in some tuna and some green olives.
You're getting a tea recipe tonight.
A recipe.
Yeah.
Wow, we're struggling there.
Boy, how about that? Yeah. Anywho,
we had a thing for this before. But I have a new segment for you. I'm not going to announce it yet, but we'll keep it hanging around there.
Oh boy. Okay. Oh, something to look forward to, I suppose. But yeah, I got a lot of salt from the olive, but no texture from the olive. None of that sort of earthiness that you get from an olive, mouthfeel wise.
I got like a fresh vegetable sort of smell from it. I thought, I literally put in my notes that I thought it was like mayo and like salsa, like a salty salsa egg combined. Like just because we had those colors, and I got like I said, kind of like a fresh garden.
Yeah,
vegetable.
I can dig that.
We didn't really go into too much the actual physical appearance of the sauces, dips, spreads, whatever. I think for this dirty martini one, it basically has like a mayonnaise type appearance. It's primarily white with some medium-sized red and green chunks floating in it. Would you say that's pretty accurate? It's about mayo consistency too, right? Kind of that whipped. Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, sticking to the side of the cup. Yeah, no question.
And
mayonnaise.
We actually tried this on some crackers because it said dip, and to me that seemed like an appropriate thing. They provide a number of interesting sounding recipes on the website, none of which we tried. But to that end, I think this would be better served, and we spoke about this during our tasting, better served probably as a spread. To me, personally, the number one thing I got off this was if you ever have like that spreadable pimento cheese, to me it seemed like a lighter version of that. But that was what I was getting off of it.
I've never had that particular cheese. That sounds interesting.
That's good. Yeah, you can just make a pimento cheese sandwich if you want. Just some bread, or you put it on some crackers, whatever. It's pretty good.
It'll be the death of me.
Take your cheese pills.
Yeah, really.
Exactly.
Well, it's something like a can. I'm not sure how much actual cheese is in it. I think it's kind of...
They're those wee tiny little glass ones. Okay.
Yes, it's kind of along the same lines as like this. I think it's a step above like the spray cheese. So,
man, don't diss on spray cheese.
I'm not dissing on it. I'm
spray
a fan
cheese
of that
is
as well.
my thing. Oh yeah.
But to me, flavor-wise, definitely a lot of the salt, a lot of the mayo, which doesn't really have a whole lot of flavor on its own. So to me, I could definitely see this amping up something. I think what I had said was throw this on a panini, which I think might be one of the recipes on the website that they have.
Or
they
a crostini.
They actually say both those things right on the jar.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, very good then. I'm nailing it today.
Wow. I mean, that's incredible. For you to pull that out, that is really something special.
Yeah, pimentos and
paninis. Wow. How'd you make that connection?
My big brain, big PP, AP, big brain.
Wowee.
I definitely said it earlier, so maybe he wasn't listening, but he just subliminally like let it filter into there, and then he's like, "Oh, I have this original idea that somebody
that.
read."
I said that when we were tasting it. I did not.
I read the jar when we were tasting it.
If this wasn't your house, I would have fucking kicked you out so many episodes ago.
I'm with you on
Jesus
this
Christ.
one. I got your back.
Are you sure?
Yep,
absolutely.
Well, I believe you. I said that when I was tasting it. That my first thing was I taste pimento, and you guys said, "Well, there's pimento in it."
Boy, this would be great on a panini and with a Pepsi. A Pepsi panini pimento party.
I'm gonna set you guys on your asses. How about that? Did you have any additional tasting notes there, Eric, or was that pretty much what you had for it? I got a little bit of garlic too, maybe.
Absolutely, no question. Yep.
I do have. I said it was zingy and sharp.
Okay.
And yeah, it had a good like chunkiness to it, and it was interesting because like the pimentos and olives and the spices had a zing to them, but then the mayo comes in and immediately comes up and cools it.
Right.
And I think you even mentioned that it had a little bit like spice to you. You were getting a little spice in the back of your throat.
Yeah, I got a good bite from the pimentos or whatever peppers they were, and it did have a little bit of heat that kind of lingered for a second. Not enough. I don't think we need to do a heat rating on this one. And you know what else I got? Especially on the nose, I got a little bit of, I thought, vodka, which traditionally you would not make you can make a martini with vodka. That's a very popular thing if you want a less of a flavored one, but traditionally gin. But I thought I got a little bit of vodka on the nose.
Interesting.
That'd be neat. I mean, I'm not sure if it actually has any alcohol mixed in there, but
To that end, why don't you give us a little read on the ingredients?
I find this closer to be a slaw based than a mayonnaise base.
A slaw?
Yeah, like a coleslaw base.
Okay.
Because there are two different jars at the grocery store.
Right. Yeah, I always kind of thought like the coleslaw base was basically just mayo with sugar and maybe some other seasonings. Yeah.
I don't know if I really get sweetness from this. I get definitely just mayo, like cooling mayo.
Yeah, definitely mayo. Not like America Whip either, like straight mayo. Not bad though.
So this has water, green olives with red pimentos, milk, palm oil, cheese culture, salt.
Cheese culture?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that really is. Carbo bean gum. I'm sure that's a thickener.
Nice.
Very good.
More gums.
Pulling that back in.
Cornstarch, onions, garlic, jalapeno peppers. Hey, there's that spice.
Very good.
Yeah.
Jalapenos, interesting.
And then a bunch of other, typical long
things you can't
sauce
pronounce.
Things. Yeah.
Okay.
And it contains milk, so I should have, be careful.
Did you not take a pill?
I did not take a pill.
Anytime you're going to be around us, you should just start taking a pill because at this point you essentially become allergic to us.
Dairy fanatics.
Yeah, you become allergic to our diet.
You guys are dairy fanatics. There's no doubt about that.
Well, that's great. If your body doesn't fight you for it, it's great stuff. So let's go ahead and move a little bit on to the chocolate sauce there. Now most of us, I think, tried the dirty martini first. I know I did. Eric, did you try that one first?
No, I technically didn't. Because I licked the spoon after dishing it all out.
Nice. Well done. Good.
I couldn't let a little drop go to waste. I had
Hell no.
Did you go with the sweet one first as well, Tori?
Absolutely I did. Where's the question?
I went with the dirty martini first, and I then went back to the dirty martini after the chocolate. And I definitely think there was a right order, and I think you guys did it wrong. I think it's better.
Naturally. Boy, what a surprise
I think it's definitely better to go from the dirty martini to the chocolate than back. The garlic and chocolate doesn't
I think
play
you're wrong.
nice.
How's that hit you?
Papa, go wrong.
There you are. We'll agree to disagree. Have a great week, everyone.
We'll agree that you're wrong. Yeah. Anyways, do you want to lead us off, Tori, with some of your tasting notes on the chocolate sauce?
Wow. Yeah, I thought it was as advertised. I think this is the closest sauce that we've ever had that is as close to being as advertised as this is. There is no punches pulled. What you read on the front is 100% what you get, and they do a damn fine job between A and B. But I thought it was really great. I mean, it slapped you in the mouth with raspberry. At least that's certainly, it looks and acts more like a chocolate sauce, but once you get it in your mouth, that's a raspberry party. It reminded me a great deal. If I were to close my eyes and put this on my tongue, it reminds me of Easter morning.
Wow. Just
with raspberry chocolates, and the Easter bunny and all that. That really painted the Easter picture for me. Springtimey Easter. Of course, good memories, naturally.
Right.
I don't think I've ever had raspberries on Easter.
No?
I don't think
you ever have raspberry
either.
Chocolate eggs? Or maple eggs?
Yeah, like Cadbury type things.
Like the Cadbury ones that are like super sugary on the inside.
I've had raspberry and chocolate, I'm sure, on Easter, but I don't associate those things necessarily.
I associate raspberry. It's like a raspberry egg. They're sort of Cadbury, but it's a local candy store.
Okay.
It's not up. But
do you want to give them a
absolutely, Yetter's Candy in Millville. They're fabulous. They've been around for a long time, as long as I can remember, and they make sandwiches and milkshakes, and it's a really great place. Homemade candies, the whole thing.
Say Yetters?
Say that again.
Yetters Candy on Grand Avenue.
Ian's been to Yetters?
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking.
Right.
Ian's been downtown to Yetters.
Certainly a Pittsburgh name.
But yeah, so to that end, the really raspberry, chocolatey, dare I say, this umptuous type flavor reminds me of, that richness and choking one of those down on Easter Sunday morning. I thought it was great. Yeah, I mean, it is as advertised. It's good.
Yeah. Man, well, Eric, what did you think about it?
I thought it was very good as well. In agreement with you about the as advertised and the taste profile. It's extremely super raspberry upfront flavor with a little bit of cocoa. You taste that chocolate in the background.
The dark chocolate.
The dark chocolate. It's interesting. I think the smell is amazing too. I think if you could walk into a candy shop and when they have some fresh raspberry chocolate tarts, cooking or something like that, that would just that's the aroma that it gives off, which is awesome. I think Hershey's does actually a raspberry kiss the last couple of years around Valentine's Day, and I'll say it definitely smells the way a raspberry kiss kind of smells when you first unwrap that foil, but the taste is better.
There's no comparison in my mind.
Definitely
this blows the doors off of a Hershey's Kiss any day of the week.
Yeah. I know, I agree too. I think it was really good, and the one thing I would like to say about it is I thought that I would describe it as very, the flavors were very raw in a good way though, kind of like a fresh raspberry, and almost not a dark chocolate flavor, but almost kind of leaning to that direction, where very almost like an earthy taste to it. And I thought they were all strong flavors, but they all really worked well, and they worked well together. Which is another thing that can be hard with a lot of strong flavors like that. And like I said, the chocolate flavor itself, we tried this on some of my now nearly year-old waffle cut pretzels, which are still good thanks to Eric heat sealing the bag 4 years ago.
Food Saver Fresh.
And they were I almost felt like this chocolate needed to be served on something more dessert-like. I was really thinking about a plain vanilla ice cream,
a marshmallow, a graham cracker.
A marshmallow would be excellent.
You know what I thought immediately was the serving tray at that where you dunk and dip
melting pot.
Yeah, that's it with the strawberries.
Yep.
I was thinking how cool that would be to have one of those plates. Have have your fruit and your little snacky goodies, your graham crackers or your Teddy Grahams But
you
that's what
actually could do that. If we heated this up, just a little gently, you could definitely do something like that with this. Just have a whole little variety of things to dip in it.
Yeah, it's just really a dunker's dipper's delight.
Yeah, we didn't actually talk about the consistency of this. It almost doesn't even need the heat. It's
pretty runny. I think it's a good serving texture for warm or cold. I was thinking cheesecake too would really be good, a plain cheesecake would be phenomenal for this.
So good.
Because I like a good raspberry cheesecake, and to me, this is kind of like you could take a plain cheesecake and just throw this on there and bam, you got it.
And I have to admit, I wondered with the name if it would be like any, how much the alcohol, would it be boozy? But it's not at all.
I didn't get that very much at all, actually.
No,
I was
didn't
getting
think so.
more like the more alcohol-y type tones from the Dirty Martini than I was from this.
Wow.
But I think that incorporates well into chocolate, and maybe that's why we weren't noticing it as much.
Probably. Do you want to read the ingredients there, Tori?
Sure, I got to take my glasses off, but I will certainly do so.
Breaking from tradition here, Eric traditionally reads ingredients.
We have chocolate syrup, raspberries, semi-sweet chocolate, cane sugar, black raspberry liqueur. How about that? Everything that I can pronounce, and that means a great deal.
And that was it.
That was it.
Wow, that's actually pretty
That's
limited.
the kit and caboodle, dude.
And like you had mentioned, it is like a not super runny, like it's not as thin as like a Hershey's syrup, but it's also not like that hot fudge that you have to heat up in the jar.
Yeah, that you got to loosen up on your own.
It's like right in between those, very easy. You could drizzle it right out of the jar onto something and put a good little layer on there. I think if you were a chef and you're trying to plate something, this would be really easy to work with.
I was just going to say, you could get hella fancy and do a little swoosh. Yeah.
I think you could really make something beautiful with that just with the consistency. I think it's perfect.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention it tastes great.
It does taste great. And that was, like I said, they nailed the flavors on it. It's very much as it says, kind of a la Yellowbird sauces in that regard with their just pepper condiment. It was kind of like that with their naming convention. Just, hey, this is what it is. That's what you're getting. And all those flavors are present. Check. They're doing well. Check. They're strong. And they incorporated them well together. So hard to go wrong with that. And one thing I wanted to note, is this our first dessert sauce?
Has to be.
Definitely.
I think so as well. I think this is our first one that we've had that was more dessert/sweet oriented, at least we've had other sweeter sauces, but none that were like dessert oriented.
Yeah,
like
this is very much geared toward dessert. Undoubtedly.
Right. I mean, we had like a golden barbecue, as we said, was sweet, and we've had we had sauces that definitely were sweeter up front, more like first ingredient, second ingredient, sugar or what's that other high fructose corn syrup.
There's another one.
Mm-hmm.
Fructose is how we agreed to pronounce it.
That's right.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, both of these to me, I thought they both did a really good job. I think probably might be leaning more towards the chocolate one, but really, I'd love to try this Dirty Martini on like a sandwich or something like that.
What kind of meat?
Well, I was thinking like some maybe a pastrami or something like that, or like a capicola.
There you go.
Or like some other cold cuts, some salami or something. Maybe I was
thinking
really
even just like Black Forest ham would be good, like something that's not too overpowering of a meat of itself, because you want that sauce to come through.
I think if you had something too salty, that might be a little bit heavy on the salt. I'm actually kind of wondering how this would work paired with like a nice Dijon mustard or something like that as well. And maybe just like a cold ice full glass of Pepsi to go along with it.
Absolutely.
I think that would really nail it.
No question. I had a Pepsi with my dinner tonight.
You'd be alternating sips of Pepsi and dips of this chocolate sauce, I think. I know you've said before you're a sweet on sweet kind of guy.
Oh boy, yeah, I'm a big old sweet guy. I would have absolutely no problem having that aforementioned piece of cheesecake with an ice cold Pepsi.
Now, here's a thought.
Holla at your boy.
Here's a thought. What if you were to make a chocolate raspberry Coke or Pepsi with mixing a little bit of this syrup into that?
You've never had a chocolate Coke before?
No.
Oh, yeah, that's a thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you've heard of Vanilla Cokes? I'm sure you've heard of Vanilla Coke. They bottled it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but there was it was old time back in the day, like the old time, soda jerks and whatnot. There would be chocolate Cokes where you'd get a Coke, and they'd squirt chocolate sauce, mix it up. And that's how Cherry Coke got started, as a matter of fact.
I would actually I would really like to try that chocolate in a Coke.
Yeah, it's good.
That would be really good.
Mm-hmm.
No, this raspberry one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, not the Dirty Martini one. Jesus Christ.
No, I was thinking just like Hershey syrup
Good
and a
God.
Coke. I was like, no.
Oh dear. Yeah, the white chunks, though, that's quite the mental image floating in there. The chocolate.
What's kind of interesting is, maybe, I suppose it's chocolate sauce. We don't really have to say it, but it doesn't say anywhere on here that it contains milk.
You're in the clear, dude.
Well, I think it's tricky, too, because, and I think they cheated a little bit, and I think smaller operations tend to do that, where a lot of times with bigger outfits, if there is a component that has its own ingredients, they will list out all those additional ingredients, whereas a lot of these smaller batch ones, like I think they said chocolate syrup was one of the ingredients, they're not going to list
I didn't break it down for you. It's there.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's milk fat, but surprisingly, that's really it.
Okay.
So,
well, we had mentioned before, you said, how do you get chocolate that runny? And I think Tori and I had said, it's basically just incorporating more oil. That's kind of what gets it to that consistency that you like and keeps it like that at room temperature.
Yeah, I think a salty cured meat, now that I'm really giving it some thought, wouldn't work. The switching gears back to that sandwich spread, but I don't think a salty cured meat would work too well with that. The more I think about it, the more I'm leaning towards these sort of a Black Forest ham or...
Oh, really?
Yeah, or maybe even like a roasted turkey, maybe something really
I could definitely see like a smoked turkey.
Okay.
Turkey.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I think turkey might be the best use for that, just because it's got a little bit milder flavor on its own. Like you said, not bringing as much of the salt.
Are we sure that's not a turkey on that emblem that we accidentally mistook for a pineapple? Gobble, gobble, dude.
I think it is, but...
it's definitely
not a turkey? Okay.
It's definitely grenade looking. It looks like a grenade.
It's a very angry turkey. Let's get a zoom in on the turkey here.
Well, I wanted to look at the website really quick here because they do offer a couple quick recipes, or at least items, serving suggestions on the bottom there. Do you want to kind of read us off a couple of those there, Eric?
Dirty martini dip recipes. Yeah, we've got a chicken wrap, a chicken olive quesadillas. We have martinis on horseback. I'm not sure what the heck that is. Dirty martini deviled eggs, mini martinis, which is, I don't know, looks like a pastry kind of thing.
Like
we got
a cracker, maybe,
or a cracker. Okay, and they say try it on cocktail rolls.
I think they're mixing it in there. I actually could see this. The thing that threw me off initially was the deviled eggs, but I could kind of see that actually.
I could see it.
You'll see me at that table. Dude.
Yeah, because you're mixing mayo in there anyways, and I think a little bit of the pimento and spice could really amp that up.
That would be terrific. I would be seeing how many eggs I could fit in my mouth at one time.
I'd be down for that. I actually might have to give that a shot. I could definitely see that on like a chicken wrap too. That sounds really good on that as well.
Yeah, those all look good for sure.
All right, well. I think we can go ahead and start working on our ratings for these two sauces. I'd say let's start with the drinks first. Let's start with the Dirty Martini. Eric, do you want to go ahead and give us a rating for that?
Sure. So I think, as we all said, we seem to definitely like it. My personal thoughts are it's complex. It's mixing a lot of interesting flavors. I liked it enough to say that it's an 8, maybe. I'm going to go with 8.5.
Okay. And Tori, what were your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. At first thought, I thought this was going to be 2 sweet sauces. So right off the bat, when you get that salt and that savory, you're a little
taken aback.
Taken aback. But I mean, it wasn't to its detriment. I thought it was. I didn't have it on the crackers. I had it on a pretzel, and I thought it was very good. Keeping with the idea of some type of cold cut or something like that, maybe on a sourdough piece of bread with that turkey, I think that would be terrific. To sum that all up, pleasantly surprised, I think an 8 is very fair.
Okay. Yeah, the only real complaint I had about that was that, a lot of times if you get, this is a big controversy too with people. A lot of people will go, some people like Miracle Whip, some people like mayo, and I kind of fall in between there. Like, I'm happy with either, really. But to me, I think if you want more of the flavor, mayo is packing less of its own flavor. And I think this one is being primarily mayonnaise-based. I got a lot of that saltiness, and the chunks had a lot of good flavor to them, but the actual, kind of mayonnaise-based didn't have a lot of its own flavor. So to me, when I tried it on a cracker, I felt like it was kind of, I didn't really need that. I almost feel like it needs something else to kind of, complement rather than trying to stand on its own as like a dip for a cracker. I think it'd be really phenomenal on a sandwich, and I'd love to try it on that or on those deviled eggs. But I think I'm going to go a little bit lower than you guys. I'm going to give it a 7. I'd be willing to revise that based on, like I said, if I tried it on something else like that and I thought it really took it to the next level. But for right now...
So you're saying you would have liked these vegetables and everything in almost more of a Miracle Whip, something that had a little more zing to it, that you thought that the mayo component was too dull for it?
No. I think it's a well put together, competent sauce, dip, spread, what have you. But I think if you want to use it just as a dip on its own, as it stands with something like a cracker, yeah, maybe it needs a little something more there to it.
Okay, that's true. I'll give you that. I mean,
because the thing about it is the chunks they're not small chunks. They're bigger chunks, and they're kind of sparsely populating the sauce, So you might get a dip in there and you might only get that mayonnaise.
Yeah, right.
If it was a finer dice on it and there was more of the chunk in there, yeah, I could see that being fine.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And to be fair, I mean, it says it's for paninis and crostinis and hajibajaginis. So, you know what I mean? Genies in a bottle. Why not? And so, I mean,
Okay.
I think for us to say crackers and chips and pretzels and all this, I think we're off base coming at it right off the...
I think you're off base.
I try to be.
I think your brain's left base. It's
Good.
launched into fucking orbit over
Good.
there. Hajajabini.
It's a better place to be.
Oh boy. Okay. Well,
as we've proven in our past, I think we've maybe given sauces a bad rap for our lack of preparation and proper plating or proper tasting, like the
I'm
wing
gonna stand
sauce.
by this. No, well, I'm going to stand by this one because I see where you're going with this. This does say dip, and I think a dip implies you would be dipping something like crackers into it. So I think I'm being fair, and I'm not giving it a bad rating. I'm giving it a 7.
Dip and spread.
No, you're giving it a good rating.
They're casting a pretty wide net there. Dip and spread.
Right, and I said
It's a
that
dip for your sandwiches.
I'd be willing to go back and revise it.
Technicalities.
Dip your head in the toilet and flush it. Yeah, whatever. Like I said, I'm standing by where I'm at. I'm willing to revise that later if I try this on something else and I think it amps it up. But for right now, a 7 I think is perfectly fair. That's not bad at all. So
It's good. I'm not bashing your rating at all. And I
bit.
do think that the mayo itself actually picks up a lot of the flavors and notes of that, you know, other seasonings and the garlic and whatnot. So it's not just boring mayo.
I'm just surprised you didn't spend the past hour complaining about how salty it was. You're always over there whining about things if they have salt on them.
Yeah, that's
like
right. I
some
picked
kind
up
of
a lot of salt in
like
it.
an
It's very salty.
85-year-old salt-sensitive grandma or something. Like, Jesus Christ, I'm surprised that you were able to tolerate the level of salt in this.
It's high blood
and
pressure.
I've stated
Cut 'em a
I
break.
love salt.
Salt is a flavor enhancer.
But, you know, and
It's just
actually
too enhanced.
the salty Ritz crackers that we tried these with.
Are you fucking kidding? You're fucking with me, right? I sincerely hope you're just fucking with me. There's no...
Salty Ritz crackers.
You can't buy blander food than that. You can't... They
What?
don't make it.
I think Ritz crackers are very flavorful.
Oh, for
I like to eat them by
Christ's sake.
themselves. No
I love
problem.
Ritz crackers too.
You are
Yeah.
the ultimate fucking white person. You know, you are like the Icelandic northern white. You're just like, oh, salt is a spice. You're one of
It
those
is.
people that makes the fucking stereotype of British people. They say they invaded the entire world for spices only to use none of them. You're that exact fucking person. Like, you want to have a mountain of salt in your basement, and you're like, oh, well, I just keep it in case I need it, along with my Kickstarters.
Oh my.
So,
Oh boy.
dressing you down again this episode. That being said, would you like to lead us off with your rating for the chocolate sauce? And I'll dress you down about that too.
I don't think you can dress me down on that. That's this chocolate sauce. You know, I think Tori said it best. He really did. He said this sauce is exactly as it's advertised.
There you have it.
You can't ask for anything more. It's so good. It smells so good. It tastes. I mean, it's a 10. It's just
Wow.
it's phenomenal. In my mind, it's perfectly as advertised, and you get what you are looking for. So for what it is, you know, I'm not going to say like, oh, I'm going to use this all the time or anything, because it's a very specialized case scenario. But for a sweet treat on some creamy dairy, I will hate myself later food. Yeah, this sauce is fantastic, and I'm going to give it a 10.
Wow, wait. Is that your first 10?
It might
I
be.
think so.
I think it is.
Because I know he's usually pretty reserved on his...
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised, because I view you as someone not as much into the sweet stuff.
And that's just it. Like, this wouldn't be my favorite go-to sauce. That's what I want to make clear.
Right.
Like, this isn't... I'm not saying this is a 10, like, I gotta have this every day, or even, like, this is something that I'm going to be craving, per se. For what it is, though, being a sweet chocolate raspberry-flavored sauce, it nails it.
Tori, what were your thoughts on this chocolate sauce?
On the chocolate sauce, yeah, perfect. I thought it was really great. I have a sweet tooth, so maybe I'm a bit jaded right off the bat. I thought it was an extra special treat because this is our first sauce that we've ever, our sweet dessert geared sauce that we've ever done. So of course that to me is a little treat as well. Yeah, it's really well done. If I wouldn't have known better, I thought these folks would have been a dessert company and did olive oil on the side and not
Wow.
the other way around. 10, brilliant, love it, fabulous.
I already wrote that down as soon as you said you liked it.
Yeah, that's an easy one. Yeah, knocked it out of the park. It was
Wow.
absolutely terrific.
Well, I hate to be the rain on the parade here.
Here comes the 3 from Adam.
Close to, it could have been our top favorite sauce of all time. It's still going to be, actually, this is going to be real damn close. So 2 minor criticisms I had of it. Now, like I said, both of these sauces I thought were phenomenal, particularly this one. Both of these sauces, after I had dipped them into the things that we're tasting them on, the crackers and the pretzels respectively, I went back with my finger for a couple more dollops just to get a little bit of it kind of unadulterated. Tori's holding up his famous
That's why
spoon.
you need the spoon, dude.
I did learn from you and give it the sniff test first. I gave them both the sniff test prior to tasting.
The nose, brother. Always.
That did help. The 2 criticisms I had about this chocolate sauce. One, in order to get that consistency, like we had mentioned, it kind of has like that, almost like an oiliness to it. And to me, like if you have a chocolate sauce made without that kind of like an oil type base to kind of water it down a little bit, it has a little bit more, I don't know, like toothiness to it almost. Like, you know, that kind of like that magic shell stuff you have, you know, this is not like that, but I kind of like that almost like hardness it has to it. Like I said, that's minor. I do think they nailed it on a consistency. So it's kind of hard to give them too many points for that taken off. The only other thing I was going to mention was that I would probably prefer if the taste of the chocolate was a little bit more to the dark side, just with the raspberry, because I found it to be really cloyingly sweet on the pretzel, and I didn't really want to eat too many more on a pretzel. I was thinking I would almost need this on something more like creamy like that, just to kind of soften down that like cloying sweetness, like a vanilla ice cream or a cheesecake. And I think if it would have went more dark, it would have really helped with that.
Out of curiosity, how many sweet liqueurs have you ever had?
I don't really have many at all, to be honest with you.
Because that cloyingness is you're describing, I think, is maybe a byproduct of the liqueur aspect that's mixed into the sauce.
Yeah, you definitely could be right. And like I said, I'm not trying to knock them too hard for that, because it was a damn good sauce. I'm just saying, for my personal preference, if I was to eat more of it, that would be something that I would think maybe as a flavor improvement. And they may have a dark chocolate version of this sauce, which in that case I would say that's probably my preference. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
I think that's pretty fair. I mean, like I said, I'm only knocking it really half a point for either of those things. I think it does a great job either way, but I think that's,
Yeah,
reasonable.
A 9 is a phenomenal score. There's no doubt about it. Normally, like I said, I'm usually a little more conservative, I guess, or a little more...
Generous is the word you're looking for?
I was going to say picky on my scoring.
No,
usually.
you give everyone a break.
I think Eric tends to skew more towards like the medium.
Towards the medium, that's right.
I think he almost always rates bad sauces higher than we do and great sauces lower than we do.
Yes, I tried to. The world is full of shades of gray, right? There is nothing that's black and nothing that's white, in my mind.
Well, I think also when you take those tests, like those surveys they want you to take online, they say you're better off going to one of the extremes because they get more accurate information about you.
True. I don't want to give accurate information to anyone, especially those online.
Yeah, I want to flood the system with so much bullshit nobody knows what end is up.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, well, that's a fair outlook too, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think as far as our listeners are concerned, if that's truly how you feel, I think that's fair. I do my best to not skew my judgment one way or the other. I don't aim for a certain score. I just go wherever I feel is right. And I think that's
right.
I think that's, like I said, where I landed tonight. I'm very happy with that.
We owe it to you, the listener, to try and be as accurate as we possibly can. So it's our duty, I think, to the sauce and to you, the listener.
And I'll be honest with you guys, I was feeling legitimate pressure to give this a 10 because that would be our first perfect sauce.
Wow.
I was really pushing myself to think if I could give it a 10, and like I said, to me it just wasn't quite there. There's been 10s that I like, I thought they were executing better than this. That being said, it is a phenomenal sauce. Great, seems to be great ownership. We had a nice little interaction with them. Like I said, I'm not knocking any points. Pleasant packaging. So really, I think we really hit, I think both of these were great.
I know after tasting this chocolate sauce, I really would like to hunt down that black raspberry liqueur. I think that would be super worthy of drinking.
And we didn't mention this earlier, but you actually got a whole variety of other items from this store as well, Eric.
I did. So I've been a long time fan of the Olive Tap, growing up in a town that was lucky enough to have one of them. So they have amazing flavored balsamic vinegars. They have white balsamic vinegars. They got flavored oils. And it's great for people who like to taste and sample, because everything that in the store is pretty much a tapped barrel that they can have little tasting cups, and you can go in there. You can go in there and taste 30 different flavors of oil and 30 different balsamic vinegars or more of each, and they'll be happy to let you just sample your way through the entire store, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And we might be seeing some more of those sauces make it into future episodes as well, so I don't want to get too specific and spoil the fun there. But yeah, it seems like a really cool little outfit, something I wasn't really familiar with. I don't know, Tori, have you ever experienced this before?
Yeah, never heard of them, and I'm better that I did.
Yeah, we might have to make a trip down there. I really personally like trying a lot of different olive oils. I really like just a little piece of bread with some olive oil.
Yeah, they actually, one of the ones I tried was the spicy garlic palm oil.
Wow.
Spicy. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was interesting, and
was it a lighter colored olive oil or a darker one?
It was lighter.
Okay.
And I tried a little thimble of it, and it went down real easy, which it's oil, it's heated oil. So I'm like, okay, so
this was warm too.
It was warm, yeah. They had a section of,
and you just drank it,
so or you just drank a thimble of it, and he's like, give it a second. The guy who was there was saying, just give it a second, and then the spice started to filter in. And I think on the very first sip, I did get a little bit of the garlic, but I didn't really pick up any of the parm notes. I don't know. I was a little left wanting, I felt.
What I think that would be really good for, if you made sometimes if you make a margarita style pizza, they'll do a little drizzle of oil across the top. I could really see something like that being good. Because I was trying to think, or even a pasta. I could definitely see you tossing that with some pasta.
Yeah, right.
You could make that just a meal. Just toss that with some flavored hot oil, and then boom, you sprinkle a little bit of extra Parmesan cheese on it. And
a little garlic bread.
Maybe some shrimpies or some creatures of the sea.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be really good too.
Maybe throw some black olives in there and call it a day.
Possibly. Wash it all down with a Pepsi. What the hell? Why not?
Oh, come on. This is where you bring out the wine.
Mix some chocolate sauce into your Pepsi. Mix some chocolate sauce in your wine.
Bust out the Pepsi, boys.
Actually, there are.
Depending on the wine, that could be.
I was going to say there are wines with similar notes to a lot of what we got from that chocolate. Actually, so I could see you making dumber suggestions, Eric. So got you there. But all right, well, I think that's going to do it for this very special Valentine's edition of Sauce Spoken. Do you have any closing thoughts you want to leave us there with, Eric?
Well, it's around Valentine's, so be kind to one another, and always keep an eye out for acts of kindness that you can do for other people as well. Just be a good person.
Wow. Okay.
Stole my thunder.
Did I steal your thunder?
Yeah,
there,
everyone's biting off my wholesome
Tori's
tip.
going to give a pass now.
What the heck?
Well, it's Valentine's after all.
Right. It is. It is Valentine's Day. And heck, if you find yourself alone on Valentine's Day, I know it's easy for me to say, but I wouldn't get too upset about it, too worried about it, because I think you should take a step back. And I am certain that there are people that care a great deal about you. So don't if you're alone, I don't mean to dwell on it, but don't kick yourself. Don't kick your own rear end, because you're certainly better than that. And there's a lot of people out there that really, really like you and just like being around you. So just keep that in mind, Nick. Until next week.
Yeah, and as far as I go, suggestions from me, maybe, in honor of Valentine's Day, maybe pump your lover full of some dirty martinis, and while Tori's laying flooring down, maybe lay your lover down and pour some chocolate sauce on them.
That's right. If any listeners are good at laying floors down, I'm currently accepting applications for helpers.
Yeah, there you go. We've made people all kinds of standing offers on this show. We've made a standing offer for dinner, standing offer for board games, standing offer for Eric's lover.
Dates. Yeah,
now a standing offer for laying the floor down. So, all right, well, I think that'll do it for us this week, and we'll catch you next week.
Hey there, that was a really good episode, and we really appreciate you listening all the way to the end. We'd really appreciate to hear your comments and suggestions, and we can be reached at saucespoken@gmail.com. From time to time, we like to put up pictures on Instagram. Feel free to follow us there at saucespokenofficial. And lastly, we would love it if you could give us some ratings and reviews on whatever platform you're listening to. Thanks again. Make sure to catch us next week. This is Sauce Spoken.